Hello YouTube fans, back again. And now, as I said, I will do some old stuff I've done before. Why not this? The mini-series. That's right, the mini-series. And I'm going to break this up in parts because V is one of my all-time favourite TV shows. From 1982 to 1983, they filmed V. I'm going to tell you the background story, then I'm going to tell you part 1. And I'm going to tell you part 2. Why not? Because I like V, the mini-series. It's a classic. It's a series that they don't make anymore, and when they try to, like the shitty fucking remake, it proves it's shit compared to the original. That being the mini-series. Now I'm going to tell you the background story of V. Why not? Started off, as you know, from the 1950s, when they had comic books and magazines, and then we had the classic 1960s series, that being They Live. Not They Live Do. Well, actually you could say They Live. They Live because they've influenced that from Tom Carpenter. The 60s show I'm on about is The Evasion. If anyone has ever seen a series called The Evasion, you know what I'm on about. Similar, same story. You're gonna die. You get aliens that look like us come to Earth and want to evade Earth. And then I always feel that They Live might have influenced that. But the idea of aliens looking like us, coming to Earth to take over, to me, is more scarier than a bog-eyed fucking monster. That's how I see it. But then you got the director. What a director. The same director that did us the Incredible Hulk. Remember the Incredible Hulk? He's decided to do his idea of a sci-fi miniseries, that being V. And you had a Jake Trash, you had Mike Singer, and you had Freddy Krueger himself before Freddy Krueger. That being Robert Englund. That's right, Robert fucking Englund. I love Robert Englund, always have done, from the days of Freddy. This would have been his iconic role as Willie. That's right, Willie. So you had a really good cast of actors, and it started off, you know, and they worked on this series. They wanted to make it a movie-length mini-series, and you had a lot of other day actors. You know what I mean? You had a lot, and I mean a lot of day actors. And that's what I was saying. The same director would have just done Terrible Hulk in the late 70s. He decided to come out with this, you know, it was a sci-fi sort of movie length. And let's not forget the motherships. The fucking motherships, which originated in the first mini, was called to UFOs. I love the idea. It wasn't too feeling, wasn't too finger. Some of the effects now, yeah, you could say they're a bit dated, you know what I mean? They're a bit dated. Like you've got the film in it, you can see it's, you know, it's a matte painting. But for that era, I dilute it. You can see that the director, he had a passion. And he definitely did have a passion. It was just the same that in 1 year after, that being 1984, he decided not to make it, and decided to have another director and another producer to foil one, that being V, the final battle. And what can I say about V? I fucking love it. And I love it that much. Why not the mini-series? Classic. You know what I mean? You've got the dates, female actress herself for that era. Diana. How can you not say anything about the actress that played fucking Diana? She is brilliant. To me, I never rated the one in the remakes. It was all smiley. The Diana in this was evil. She was ruthless. And the thing I love about V is you never got to know what they were. They come on Earth, they look like us, and they have the human voices. It's only when the fulfillment of they're not peaceful, they're not come on Earth, and we basically are food. We're fucking food. And they want to cocoon us, they want to fucking eat us, not in a sexual way, and They basically want to steal our water. And I love V. I love it. I love part 1. I love part 2. And I even love the final backup. Now, yeah. I do admit over time that I'm not a lover of the TV series, but after seeing that fucking horrible remake, which I think is a piece of dog shit, I do to respect the TV series for the fact that you've had Mike Singer, you've had the actors who we all know, Babe Julia, you've had them all, and the work they did in the mini-series was just brilliant. It was brilliant. It was movie length. And there's little bits where you can see there was a fuck up, and there was making the motherships. You could do different designs, and I think it was in part 1. There was different designs of the mothership, which they'd later call the UFOs. And you sort of see that in part 1 of V. You see it in this. But what a design. What a beautiful, beautiful design of the motherships, which they later call the UFOs. And as the series goes on, they call it the motherships. And then you've got the motherships fly across the holographs. Now I remember in V, I think it was part 2, there's a bit in it, and this was before you had Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. But you sort of see the similarities where the holographs are flying along and they're offering here and they're offering there. And I also love the music. I also love the music in V, the final battle. Love it. I love the music that. Does I'm doing a shit job. But you've got to hear the music. The music is iconic. Just as iconic as V, the final battle. I love the characters. I love Martin. I love Willie. He's kind like a mocking Minger. You know, he fucks up his words. I love Mike Singer, who before he did this, he had the process of doing that being the Beastmaster. And that's one I would have to talk about one day, the Beastmaster. But it influenced a lot of things from a lot of old sci-fi comic books. A lot of sci-fi influenced that, you know. You had probably episodes of the Twilight Zone and episodes of the Outer Limits what had the similar story of this. And again, like I said, they had the late 60s series, The Invasion. And then when we don't know The Invasion, you know, they look like humans, and if you shoot one or one got killed, they turn into red mist. And that's the only fun I ever had in The Invasion. I couldn't wait to see one of them died, so you can turn into that red mist. You can make a drinking game out of it. But a lot of sci-fi influences, and even people, right, I'm going to be honest, my mum and a lot of my family members were never a lover of sci-fi, that's the fucking word, sci-fi. But V had to be the best. It was brilliant, it had a good story, had a good art to it, and damn good special effects. Part 1, the scene where Diana picks up that bikini big and she eats it and the throat comes out, which I remember the actress did that effect herself with a dummy head, and she eats it, and they're just going to do it all in one, but the way they did it, yeah, it's a bit dated now, but for that time it was like fucking hell, damn good practical special effects. That's why when I do V, the remake, which I have to call a shit make, I'm going to rant on it. I'm going to fucking rant on it, because in my eyes there've only ever been one V, this V. And next time, I'm going to talk about the first story of V, which aired back in 1983 on ABC, and then when we got on terrestrial TV, on TV. Into them. I'll see you later.